let's have a look at the monthly event, the Adcorp Employment Index, which was released earlier today. In the Power Lunch Johannesburg studio is Loane Sharp, Labour analyst at Adcorp. Loane, familiar story. Adcorp's latest employment index, it says here, shows that the economy shed 34,654 jobs during August. Tell us about that first.
Well, that's a significant decline. It's the most significant decline at any time this year. So far, the economy has lost more than 185,000 jobs in 2013, which is the worst performance since 2009, when the economy lost 1 million jobs over just 7 months. It looked during 2012 as if there was a recovery underway. Employment prospects looked better, but that has fallen away. So employment is now at the same weak levels that it was in 2009 during the peak of the global financial crisis.
You say here that the particular sectors that have lost jobs have been construction, transport, financial services, and there's been temporary jobs as well. We've lost nearly 13,000 temporary jobs. And yet we were speaking about the PMI, which is a really, really good PMI for the month of August. We were analysing it last week. And the employment index for the first time in 2013 rose above 50. So in the manufacturing sector of the South African economy, maybe because of the weak rand, we're creating jobs. It's elsewhere that we're shedding. When are we going to get everything that's into a point where it's not shedding?
Well, the cycle is key to that. When the economy grows between 4 and 5%, we create enough jobs to absorb all the matriculants who leave the schooling system each year. But the economy needs to grow 8 to 9% per annum to make substantial inroads into our formal sector unemployment problem. I think the authorities have made a mistake in assuming that our unemployment problem at the moment is largely a structural one. The Reserve Bank has come out and stated as such, but they've missed in the process, and I think it's an extraordinary error. The Reserve Bank in particular has missed that there are certain deep cycles in the labour market at the moment. For example, the rate of resignations of employees is at the lowest level in 15 years. What that means is employees don't feel confident enough in the labour market to jobs. The dismissal rate, the rate at which employees are dismissed, has increased to levels last seen in 2009. So cyclical employment conditions are very weak, and I think our monetary policy stance doesn't properly reflect the weakness, cyclical weakness in the labour market. I'm interested to see how the Reserve Bank's error of judgment plays out in next year's general elections, because the labour market is the tail that wags the political dog.
There's also a bit of a side issue here. I mean, apart from the tragedy of 35,000 jobs nearly being lost during the month, there's also something else, sickness-related absenteeism. And it says here that it's gone up fourfold since 2007. What is that? Are we unhealthy or are we just lazy?
Well, I think it's connected to our labour productivity issues. South Africa's labour productivity is now at a 46-year low. Which in itself is problematic, but it's also problematic in that our real wages are at a 53-year high. So there is an incredible stretch between what workers are paid and the productivity that they deliver. And absenteeism is a symptom of that problem. Here again, we have labour laws that regulate the amount of sick leave a person can get. So over a 3-year cycle, you're permitted 36 days off for absence, sick leave-related absence. And what we're noticing is more and more employees, particularly in the public sector, are taking full advantage of those 36 days. So people seem to be supplementing their annual holidays with periodic supposed sickness. Again, generous labour laws having unintended consequences.
Are you saying that we should reduce that phase that you just spoke about to something less? Because you say that a quarter of all workers are actually taking the full 36 days, whether they're sick or not, and whether they've got a sick note or not. Surely there has to be some backup here. In other words, a doctor's reference or something.
The main problem is that by law, workers are remunerated during periods of absence. They permitted certain leave for holidays, certain leave for sickness, certain leave for family responsibility, and so on. It would make economic sense not to remunerate employees when they are sick. We've seen with temporary workers, for example, who don't enjoy all the protections that permanent workers do. Temporary workers have much lower rates of absenteeism than permanent workers. So this is a pure consequence of the law. I think we should stop the remuneration that occurs automatically when someone is sick. Or alternatively, companies can adopt policies requiring proof of sickness. Most companies have policies where only 2 or 3 or 4 days of continuous sickness require a doctor's note. We might be able to stem the tide of absenteeism by requiring that doctor's note from the first day. But something that's becoming more and more prominent in the workplace generally is...
Sorry, Loane, we'll have to leave it there, but it's been great to talk to you, but at the same time, every month I do speak to you, it's rather sad. 34,654 jobs lost during the month of August. That was Loane Sharp, Labour analyst at Adcorp, talking about the Adcorp Employment Index.